and downs. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Black goat elf, Dotta puppet too. Bearsnake by the ocean blue. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Kobolds and dream masters soar. Putting their root on the door. It's Wizard Wednesday. Forevermore. Wizards of Wednesday, lore at the core. We are a cult with a world of our own, never forgotten or magic is known. It's Wizard Wednesday, it's Wizard Wednesday. Let's read from the book of lore, legendary wizards at the core. Don't get lost in the quantum shadow. Abracadabra is our magical manifesto. Wednesday. Eat a donut, set your soul on fire. The sacred flame on a funeral pyre. The seventh gate with golden locks. The nightmare imp with a treat box. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday.
Today is June 26, 2024. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's also my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. And we're never going to get a DMCA. We're never going to get a DMCA for that song. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, I made that song over the weekend with Udio. But it's a good day to join a cult. Channeling in from the quantum bounds is the Black Goat of the Wood, Elf J Trul, and I've got some friends on stage with me.
Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday.
You.
That is
Thank
so
you.
fun.
Yeah, happy birthday, Elf.
Thank you.
My voice is so shot. I sound like RFK. For my first term as president, I'm going to shut down Big Potion and fill my cabinet with green hats.
Do you have a worm in your brain?
Yeah, I have a bunch.
No, buddy, honestly, you should be in bed right now. You sound terrible.
I know. I'm not gonna talk.
Okay. Just listen in. But yeah, we got Dotta, we got Entropy, and Bear is actually I think he's on the road today. But yeah, Entropy, welcome to Wizard Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here as always.
Thank you. And yeah, if anyone wants to come up and join, please do. And you know what I would love to see more of? I always ask in the Discord if people want to ask us questions, and we get questions there. I would love for people to just come up on stage and ask us questions, like just voice to voice.
Yeah. Hop up and grill us. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. We will answer anything and everything.
Well, hold on a second.
Well, at least take the question.
Yeah, we'll take the question. But yeah, welcome, Matto. Entropy, do you want to tell everybody to do the thing?
I sure do. I mean, rather, I would like to not have to, but this is the game that we play out here. Yeah. It is the attention economy. All right, everybody. Do me a big favor. Go to this space. Give it a like if you haven't already. Give it a retweet. Say something nice. Tell somebody why they should hop in and hang out with us this Wednesday. We've been doing this for 154 weeks in a row, and they should tune in for it if they haven't. Leave a comment. Comments are the best thing for the algorithm right now, and the best thing, too, is if you comment on somebody else's comment, too. So if you guys will do that under this space, that would be much appreciated. You will be my favorite.
Yep. And if you're new here, half the conversation actually happens in our Discord in the Secret Tower channel. So go there. And then just another reminder, we upload all of these to our YouTube channel, so you can go there to see all the back episodes.
I think Meeple Dad's gonna read some lore today too.
Yeah.
Meeple Dad's gonna read lore. Meeple Dad, come up anytime you want. to read your lore. We don't necessarily have to do it at the end. We've got cult questions. I want to talk a little bit about that magic entry I put in the Wikipedia last week. Dotta, what kind of updates do you have? You got anything specific you want to talk about today?
No, we can just answer the questions that people had in Discord.
All right, let's do that. Okay, well, let's start. Here's a good one from actually Meeple Dad. He's asking, what is something amazing that a Magic Machine team member did this week? And for some reason, he said it can't be Elf or Bear. We have to name someone else. Um, that okay, I'm tempted to be like, oh, everybody on our team is amazing, which they are. But to limit it to just one, for just
I have
this
so many.
week. Go for it, Dotta. You got one this week?
Okay, I'll try to talk in my low voice. It's not a squeaky.
Yeah.
My sexy operator voice. So let's see. Waz is putting the finishing touches on Forgotten Market V2. We should have a beta for you all out shortly. Niski today is working on fixing the bugs for the Warrior sales bot. There were some issues folks brought up. Frog Eater is can I talk about what Frog Eater is working on?
Yeah.
Frog Eater is putting together an incredible version of the new map, which I can't wait for all of you to see. Jitsi has got the inside scoop and is helping document out some mechanisms for our new game release, which will be announced soon. Oh man, there's just so much. I keep going.
Yeah, there's so much. Jitsi actually helped me with a piece of music for another thing that we're working on, which actually reminds me, I have been DMing cult members asking for video content. We are putting together just a big supercut. So if anyone has video content, like I'm looking for that cross section between cult content and it also being video or animation, anything that moves.
Yeah, I
DM
want to put a
me.
super cut of like everything about the cult on our new homepage, and then some other videos Elf are working on. So any videos that you have, please send them to us.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, just DM me. But yeah, like I said, I've reached out to a bunch of people already. But if I'm missing anyone, just send it my way. But
Wait,
yeah,
I didn't talk about Entropy and Nalgene. Nalgene has has got some really good pencils in from the new issue of the comic, and has been organizing that in the face of uncertainty and operation issues on the end of some of our partners there. And Entropy has been doing tons of great writing for us, playing defense for us, with like the new updates for the Runeverse game, which we can talk about. So yeah, that I think that's everybody besides the three of us.
you did the thing we weren't supposed to do. We had to name just one, but it's also impossible to name just one.
Oh, it said to just name one.
No, it's okay.
I want to name like 3 per person.
I know. No, it's all good. Yeah, it's hard to name just one, Meeple. Everybody performs at 100% every week. But okay, let's go to the next question. V Mark. This one might be more difficult to answer. He's asking, at what age did you realize that you're a wizard and that you have to put your rune on the door? You guys have an answer for that? Sounds like no.
Sorry, I was looking up GIFs in Discord. What was the question?
At what age did you realize that you're a wizard and you need to put your rune on the door?
I don't know. I'd say something. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you this, V Mark. This whole idea of putting your mark on the world really started to gel for me in my teenage years when I started reading Nietzsche and a lot of philosophy, and that seemed to be a common theme that popped up over and over. So the idea of putting your mark on the world has kind of been with me for a long time. As far as when when do you realize you're a wizard? I don't know. It's kind of one of those things that you're always just striving towards, and I'm not sure if I'm really a true wizard just yet. But uh, but you know what? I
I
think I
have
want
a.
to.
I know. I
Yeah, go
remembered
for
a
it.
moment that I was thinking of today. Um, I used to play these RPGs online that were called MUDs, multi-user dungeons, and they were these text-based games. And it was the '90s, and the internet was brand new and all on dial-up. And it was like the first multiplayer game I think I'd ever played, where it's completely text-based. Um, and we would just grind for hours and hours and hours. I was probably, I don't know, 13 or 14. We'd grind for hours and hours to get the best equipment, to get the best weapons, to get the best XP. And then we learned that the code was open source, and so we could set up our own server. And so we set up our own server, and it was cool because you could make your own rooms, you could make your own equipment, you could make your own monsters. And I played tons of video games at that time. We played tons of Sega Genesis, tons of NES. And this Mud was the game that I loved the most out of any other game. And what I found out was when we would make our own servers, we could just give ourselves all the best equipment, and we could give ourselves all the gold, and we could give ourselves like infinite abilities within the game. And it was like in that moment I was like, wait, I have a superpower now. Like i
That's
know i,
awesome.
I know kung fu. And that was the feeling that like turned me into a programmer. And part of the reason why I don't really play that many video games right now, like I actually get more joy out of like building a video game than out of playing them, because it's like I want to have all the power.
Dotta, that is such a good answer. That's fantastic. That's perfect.
That is a really good one.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, I'll chime in with mine. I don't know. I kind of read this a little bit similarly to Dota. I immediately kind of thought back to the first time that I ever played Dungeons and Dragons, which was back in, I want to say, middle school for me with a couple of friends. And we had no idea what we were doing. I think we had one copy of the player's handbook, and we just like really put our all into it and made a little campaign and played it a couple of times. And that was my first like sort of entrance into a very, very DIY world building kind of approach, whereas previously it had been a lot of like enjoying video games and other media content, and occasionally those same friends and I would like draw silly comics, right? And I don't know that at that time we felt like our comics were building this world, but given the tools and some of the like sort of base ideas to work off with D&D and our introduction to that, that was a big creative like sort of kind of build moment for me. And ever since then have always just had interest in fantasy world stuff, and still to this day play Dungeons and Dragons. My current campaign, we are like 54 sessions in. We've been going for over a year and a
Wow.
half. Table of
Wow.
7. We meet in person, and it's awesome.
That's so fun. I wish I knew 7 people that live near me.
You guys are wizards.
Yeah, I'll try and move mine really quick. I think for me is kind of similar-ish. It's back when it was like dial-up, and um unlike it wasn't MUDs, but it was like they were like AIM like chat rooms. You guys remember AIM from like the dial days, AOL?
Oh
But they were
yeah.
like, yeah, they had like the
Yeah.
chat rooms. I mean, they had the role play rooms, but not the role play rooms that are the hat that I put on my robe and wizard hat ones. The actual like playing as a wizard role play rooms. And I think as a kid, I really like I like enjoy like most of the people that I was with were like around my age, thankfully. So like it was just like we were just screwing around like in AIM chat rooms as kids, kind of like making up our own spells and stuff and going on like not really like structured D&D sessions or anything, but just kind of like loose role playing where we would have like an idea and then we would kind of like almost like jazz rhythmically go off of each other without a DM, just kind of like make up things. We bumped into a war, guys. Oh crap, what do we do? And I think that was really fun. And I think I've always like I've always gravitated towards wizard characters. So like, and all those campaigns that we did, I always like role played as a wizard instead of like a warrior or anything. So.
You guys are all talking about the days when the internet was cool. Like sometimes I just want to go back to.
So true.
I want to go back to Web
Yeah,
1.
100%.
Give me MIRC and Expire again.
Have
It's
you
okay.
guys read?
That's what crypto is right now. It's so clunky. It pretty much isn't dial-up days right now. So
I
we're
know.
living it.
Not to go on a tangent, but have you read about this idea called the enshittification of everything?
Oh,
And
no, go ahead and tell us.
people often link it to like dead internet theory and how like Google, for example, is like their search engine just sucks now because they're prioritizing advertising and whenever you search something, they're at the top of the listing. They're optimizing to make you buy something as opposed to like find something. And then once you actually do find stuff, it's all AI generated, and again, it's all aimed to just make you buy something. I mean, it's what is it like 5 companies pretty much dominate the internet now, like 90% of the web traffic or content that you see.
Yeah. They just shut down CartoonNetwork.com. They're just redirecting it to HBO Max service. Like it's like
I guess I just
like yeah. They just did that like last week. It redirects to
Yeah.
HBO Max. But yeah, go on. Just kind of give an example of how everything. It's like all like 5 companies pretty much.
I guess I just feel that there's like always a kind of like frontier crew that moves to different areas or different areas discover their frontier crew, one or the other, right? Now the early days of the internet had that where it was weird and laughed at on late night TV, but you have people creating new things that are like super fun. You had that with the early days of the internet. You had that with the early days of mobile, and you had that with the early days with crypto, right? I think when I think back on like the I don't know, there's been a couple phases in crypto. You have that feeling, which is like we are doing this, we are the lost boys, like imagining this table of full food until it appears before us. And then like what happens is we start making money and then it gets capitalized on and then ruins it, right? Like maybe meme coins or something like this. And so we're out of that. We're out of a version of that phase right now. We're at a wane of that phase.
No, I love that. This has been happening for every media and medium iteration for the history of humans. Because I was thinking for the previous question, when I first picked up a digital film camera and you had that access that was only available to people in the previous generation through film, like actual film cameras. When digital came out, it's like anybody and their friends could just grab a little handy cam and start making videos. And that was my first realization of the power of film and sharing those stories. And the fact that I could make a film and present it to my teachers as a term paper and get an A on an assignment instead of writing something. Yeah. So yeah, to Dota's point, like this just keeps on happening, that the new medium presents itself, the early adopters get to, play with it, and it's all honest and it's all real, and then somebody recognizes the power of it and they start to bastardize it and sell it and repackage
Yeah,
it.
it starts off as punk rock, but then just gets like
Exactly.
adopted by
Yeah.
business guys. And so
Yeah.
I don't know what area is that right now. Like what area is punk rock? I think there's a region of it in crypto, but it's like, what's the macro? I'm not really sure.
It's hard to say because it's just such a blending of so many mediums. And so like, because it encapsulates so many different uses, there's so much frontier ahead of us. It's like an exploration to be done. Everybody who comes into it feels like it's new again. And yeah, it's just, we constantly repeat we're early. And then the people who have been here for like 3 to 5 years are like, okay, yeah, are we still early? So I just feel like because it can be all mediums, it constantly feels new to anybody experiencing it. So it's, to your point, like really, really hard to put your finger on, like, where are we in the transition?
I don't know. I think we're still early. I really do.
I think we're early.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on with the questions. Meeple Dad has two more. This one's easy. Meeple Dad says, "Art is to magic as science is to what?" I think the answer is the machine. Science is to the machine. And I also think that you knew that, Meeple Dad. You just wanted to see if I knew that. Okay, and then Meeple's got another one. Actually, so Meeple, this is a good question, and I think it kind of relates to this Magic Wikipedia post I wrote, which I also want to talk about. So Meeple's asking, the runes are an underappreciated trait on the Wizards, Warriors, and Souls. Some might say they are, quote, forgotten. So he's asking, what's a noteworthy rune from the collection that you love? Not necessarily rare, valuable, just special to you. Okay, so yeah, I want to talk about this magic page in the Wikipedia I wrote. I finally was able to write a sort of comprehensive guide on magic in the Runeverse and touch on all these things like runes, like the color, like specialty, and other things that sort of define magic. And I promise I'll answer your question in this, Meeple. But I think like the most important thing that you should take away from magic in the Runeverse is that every wizard approaches magic differently because magic is an art form. No two artists would define art in the same way. Just when one art movement pops up, 5 years later, a new art movement comes to counteract it with an entirely different approach. So that's why I've always been sort of hesitant to like define a quote magic system in the Runeverse, because you can't really systematize art. And so what's cool about the wizards in the Runeverse is they mix and match these different influences like runes, like color, like specialty. And so everybody has a wizard that has these at least these three different influences in it. And that sort of helps define your unique magical expression. And I also just want to make a meta point, which is like I think this applies in real life too. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Galloway is, but I think he's an interesting sort of pundit these days. And he always talks about like how to be successful in this or that. And one thing he said I saw a few weeks ago, he was like, okay, we're in this job market that's extremely competitive. And it's like, how do you stand out? And one method he recommended was just like, don't just be good at one thing, be good at two or three things and then blend them together. And that will make you a very unique type of talent. And like, if I think about the most successful people I know, they're not just like good at one thing. They've put two awesome things together to make themselves really unique and special. Like Dotta is obviously really good at programming, but he also has a really keen business acumen. And so you put that together and you can be like just the CEO of Magic Machine. And I think everybody like really has like, a couple unique talents that they could blend together to just really make a interesting art form and put a really unique mark on the world. And so it is with the Wizards and Forgotten Runes. Now, to answer your question, Meeple, about the runes. So if you look at this page in the Wikipedia, of course there's four separate categories of runes. There's the planetary, the elemental, the alchemy runes, and the miscellaneous runes. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but I think what's really special actually is the alchemy runes. If you read what they do, all of them together attempt to do this fundamental mission in alchemy, which is it's this phrase in Latin. It says "solve et coagula," which means dissolve and coagulate, which means to break something down to its basic components and then rebuild it into something noble or beautiful. I think even the wizards represent this. They're they're these creative primitives made of very simple pixels That's like the breakdown phase. And then every day, everyone in the cult does the coagulate phase. We take that basic fundamental element and we make it into something beautiful and magical. And so yeah, the alchemy runes do this. It starts with lime, which, again, to answer your question, Meeple, I think that might be one of my favorite, most underrated runes, the rune of lime, because on a practical level, it's a key ingredient in concrete, which is a foundational material upon which cities rise. And what's really cool about concrete is the Romans knew how to make concrete, and then it got lost during the Middle Ages, and now we're making it again. So it's this sort of timeless material upon which great cities were erected. It's like the true world builder rune, the true world builder material. So the lime is the first stage in this building phase. Then comes the rune of steel, which is used to make buildings and industrial manufacturing and machinery. It's like what you put on top of the foundation. You make all the things to put on top of the foundation. Brass is a rune of harmony and unity. It's used to make a lot of musical instruments, which of course are used to bring harmony and unity to art. Okay, so if you imagine you build the foundation with with lime, you put all the things on top of it with steel, then you harmonize it with brass. Okay, the next one is cinnabar, and that's a rune of aesthetics. After you harmonize them, you make them beautiful with cinnabar. And then finally, brimstone. You destroy it all with brimstone. And then this whole cycle repeats. So, I don't think that's something I've ever really talked about with the alchemy runes, but I just think they're very special in that regard.
It's my dad wrote me right after you published your runes magic page, and he said Elf did an amazing job with Wikipedia, and I don't want to be the one to tell him, but I have a wizard and 2 warriors that have runes he doesn't mention. I have a wizard with a rune of the sun and a warrior that has the rune of power. And I don't want to post on X and publicly complain, but how should I let him know?
let me know in public on Wizard Wednesday. No, but honestly, I'm aware of that. There's yet even another one. There's the Soul Rune that's not in here either. But yeah, I think there's actually 2 warrior runes that are not in here. There's the Soul Rune, and then the Sun Rune. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. I need to get the Sun Rune in there, but.
Oh, I don't think it's an excuse. I don't think you need an excuse. It's just everybody is so curious. We're looking forward to the future editions.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, and then finally, okay, and then secondly, there's the hat colors. We've talked about the hat colors over and over the past 3 years. But I will say one color we don't talk much about is black, because the shadow hats were kind of a collection that intentionally came out of nowhere by design. And I wanted to keep like black, like literally in the shadows for a while, but I think it's finally to start talking. It's finally time to start talking about black magic. And like the thing to know about it is it is like on the outside of this entire spectrum. It literally sits on the outside. I mean, I think like the source of black magic is the total void of absolute nothingness, which is one of our NFTs in the Soul Collection. But that it's the entire like void that's outside of our known world, and it's just a source of mystery and intrigue and honestly horror. And so that makes it really kind of the most powerful magic force that anyone could possibly use. But you wouldn't want to use it because you will totally lose your humanity and identity. It's like, what is absolute power worth if you totally lose yourself in it? What is fun though is the purple hats actually come close to this, because purple is the closest color to black. It's the darkest of all the chromatic colors. Um, and that's why we see the purple hats kind of like losing their minds and being a little kooky and crazy, but they have maintained their humanity, unlike the black magic users. That's the biggest difference. So they're sort of flirting with chaos, but black totally embraces it. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that in black magic, and then finally the magical specialties, which everybody sees at the it's in your wizard name what your sort of specialty is. And I'm even missing some on in the wiki for in this regard as well, which I'll continue to add to it. But yeah, I mean these sort of fall outside the whole rune and color structure. They it's yet just another way to practice magic that isn't associated with the rune or color.
That's fun. I don't think you've ever revealed before that the void of absolute nothingness is the source of black magic.
Yeah. It's I mean, and what's great is Tim Smith owns it, and I mean he's a perfect black magic guy. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this, Dotta, everything in the collection is connected. Everything has a relationship to another thing in the collection. Almost nothing is sitting in a vacuum. Almost nothing. And so, I mean, someday I want to expose every single connection. But it takes time to trickle all that out.
All
Yeah,
things in due time,
that's about
much
it.
like updating the Wikipedia and successive ways too. I just realized something. I was talking with Elf a little bit about the this post that he made with the magic color or the link to this Wikipedia page and the algorithm and all these things too. I haven't talked about this with the team yet, so nobody get mad at me. But I want that post to do a little bit more work for us out there. And I noticed there's only 13 reposts on it, combined with quotes and just reposts. If I would encourage anybody who's listening now, go hit that repost button. I will pick somebody and send them a Nightmare Imp treat box. And if we can get it to 50 combined reposts, quote and regular posts combined, I'll give away 2 at least. Okay. So go hit those buttons for me, please.
All right, Entropy. I like that.
We're gonna cast our own magic out here on the algorithm and take it control.
That's right. Hell yeah.
So, Elf, to rewind for a second, the analogy for magic in the Runeverse is art, correct?
Yeah. The real life corollary. Yeah.
Which ties a lot together, and just every single work of fiction requires the author to define magic at some point. So like at almost sometimes at gunpoint, they're just like, tell us how this all happened. So this ties a lot together, and even to like the wardrobes, like fashion as an art, and these are the mediums of expression. So it just all makes a lot more sense now. I think it's really cool, dude. And the whole community is based on art and creation. So this is great.
And we're all wizards. And I also just want to say, like, when I say art, I certainly, like, I mean the classical arts, like painting, sculpture, architecture, music, but I also mean more practical tasks like computer programming, engineering. Honestly, anything that involves just some degree of creativity has the capacity to be an art form. So, it's not just like drawing and painting. It can be almost anything. I guess that's it. But to answer your question, Meeple Dad, I think the rune of lime is a very special rune because it's the foundation to world building.
Entropy, do you want to talk a little bit about the Runeverse announcement?
Yeah, for sure. Would love to touch on it. So most of you here might have already read it. If you haven't, go check it out in the announcements channel in our Discord. Likewise, in the post that's pinned to the top of this space here. So on Tuesday morning, we released a little bit of an update for the Runeverse game. The high level of that is that builds 2 and 3, previously New Foundations and Echoes of the Past, have now been pushed together and combined. We're going to release these in more substantial update. That'll be a little bit more full kind of experience than it would have been a little bit more piecemeal. And that was something that we realized along the way that, we want to give you guys the most full experience of the game that we possibly can. And it started to make increasingly more sense to combine those two into one experience for you. The other part of this is that in Q4 of this year, we are going to launch the live service continuous release of Forgotten Runeverse. So this means no more downtimes, no more play tests. You will just be able to log on and play anytime that you want. So you can expect within this calendar year to have Forgotten Runeverse up and running, fully functional, of course, updated and added content over time, as we've talked about before too. But we were really excited to be able to share this with you guys too. There's a lot of other hints in that announcement to other things that are coming. I don't want to dig in too deep to it now for fear of saying something that I shouldn't, and all
Sure.
that. But yeah, there's good stuff in there, and yeah, I think the real big takeaway here is that there was a little bit of lapse in comms of us letting you know that the build 2 new foundations was delayed, but it was really for the right reasons. And it's not because development slowed down, but because other opportunities arose, and we really saw the opportunity in front of us to combine things and do a more strategic launch rather than just ship the one thing that we've been working on.
And so
And I
this
will,
next,
yeah, go ahead.
the
Go
next
for it.
build will have, you will be able to own land. You'll be able to build buildings on your land. Matto, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you'll be able to even do interior decoration. Is that in the next build? And then also dungeons. So we were going to split those out, interior decorations and dungeons, and just being able to build on your land. But I think they're going to get combined into the next release.
Right. Yeah.
Matto, you
They're,
correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right from what I know from the plans. Because like was mentioned before, development hasn't slowed down. So even though we haven't released the Q1 build, the Q2 build has been worked on this entire time, right? So like now we're in Q2, obviously. So a lot of things that were planned for that Q2 build are like 100% like pretty much like finalized and built out. And we're planning on probably having like another set like small closed test before we do a large test again, just because we did this before because we want to make sure like there's a lot of new features from that Q1 build from that Q2 build that weren't in the Q1, so we want to test those as well. But yeah, we're gonna have more announcements on that. Keep an eye on that. But in general, like we're gonna have those builds combined together, partially combined together, because we already have a lot of significant work done on that Q2 build. So it's really exciting. It's going to be a larger build, and just there's more stuff around that build that's going to be launching as well. So afraid to speak too much. We have a lot of announcements that are like down the pipeline that are about to come out. So just hold out a little bit, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I've been reading the sales chat this week. Totally understand people's kind of frustrations with comms. I think we'll work on being better at that. I think in terms of updates, I feel that there's like a lot of these pieces that we've thrown out that folks don't really feel like they understand where the updates are. So we've given updates before, but I'll give some more right now, which is Goblin Town, for example, is on hold. We'll talk more about that in a bit. I think we really want to make sure that we don't launch an on-chain game that's competitive to this massive game that we've been working on for years and years, right? The Runeverse game is going to be and was always planned to be much larger than Goblin Town. And so, like, why would we want to divert like 1 ounce of energy or attention towards a competitor to like the biggest thing that we've launched in the last 3 years, right? So, like, Goblin Town is just on hold because the Runeverse and everything that will be launched around it is just an order of magnitude bigger. We talked about the Warrior Merging event, and I think that's still 100% going to happen, but there are some things that will be revealed with regards to the Runeverse game launch that we're also waiting for because we think it can be better. And then similarly, we're just a small team and we're trying to make sure that like the game is the focus. The game is what we're spending our energy on. The game and the economy associated with it is where everyone's focus is being poured into that. At the same time, adjacent to the game, once we kind of get this underway, we're working a lot on the, like, let's say the brand in terms of the website and the collaborative legendarium tools. So this would be things like Wikipedia, the Loracle, the Book of Lore V2, like all of these things that speak to the core of the brand, which is around the collaborative legendarium. Are also tools that we have to build out. Oh, entropy, you're typing. It sounds like the Kermit meme.
Sorry.
So the collaborative legendariums, of course, is like the foundation for the IP, along with like the stories that Magic Machine tells. So investing in those tools, and we'll give more kind of like timelines there. All of that is still happening. I know that everyone's been wanting a Book of Lore V2 update, better collector's page, better Forgotten Market. We're working on all of that, and we've got, we've added some staff even over the last couple of weeks to try to ship those things out. And so yeah, I don't know if that's all of the updates that people are asking, but I guess maybe what I would say is just that like everyone who wants to ask questions about any of these dates can come on Wizard Wednesday and ask. And I'm always in sales chat, happy to answer those questions. I really, really do appreciate everyone, Jay Mander and Corey and Bill and everyone who kind of like holds us accountable and says, hey, like from where we sit, we're not getting the messaging that we feel like we need to communicate to the cult in the way that like it needs to happen. So totally hear that, totally reading that. Hopefully, kind of we get better at that, I suppose. But I think one thing that you can know is that we're building a serious game. It's incredibly fun. We're shipping like an entire economy where the wizards will be sort of a premium within the ecosystem. It's going to draw a ton of attention to the project, and then yeah, I think we'll be one of the only NFT, certainly one of the only NFT projects from our cohort of PFPs that has like a functioning game that's shipped, and that's on top of 3D wizards and 3D warriors and what have you. So we're working on it every day. We'll get better at the comms.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. Internally we always talk about like how perilous it is to go on a space every week and talk about quote updates or what we're doing, because we hint a thing like this warrior event and then it gets delayed. And from the outside perspective, I can understand why that would be confusing. But I think what I wish everyone could understand is like we do these things strategically under serious calculation. If in retrospect you looked back and you saw the order in which we did things and why we pivot and why we delay and why we shift focus, I promise you there's a reason that we do all this. It is optimizing for the best effect for us and for you. I know like the word delay is like, on its face dirty, but I promise you there's a very good reason why we shift these
Yeah,
things
we're
around.
hardly the first game to have a delay, right? That's just how games go.
I think
Well,
I think it kind of shows as like a testament in terms of like of how strict like this build for the Forgotten Universe, when the opportunity arose, it kind of forced like things to kind of like reshift in terms of priority. And so like a lot of like the delays and stuff are like because we had to like build out a lot of things with the help of Magic Machine too, right? Because it wasn't just by Sonic, because it's we're affecting the entire ecosystem with a lot of this, a lot of what needs to be discussed. So I think it just shows us assessment that like it's just on the fly there was just priority shifts, and so within the middle of that, we wanted to have kind of like for the benefit of the entire ecosystem
And
where
I
everybody
feel
felt
like the
that.
cult has
Mhm.
done a good job at being like okay with the delays, right? Everybody
Yeah,
understands
I
real things
yeah
take time. I think it's
I
just
think
like,
everyone's been extremely patient. Honestly, yes, I
yeah,
agree.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's just we could do better at comms, and they're telling us
Hmm.
that, and so then hopefully we'll just get better at it.
Right, right. Like I'm sure what I'm trying to say is I'm sure like none of that, like all that things there, like the delays for the other stuff is more so that way, like it's because we face things early, and so
Yeah.
with that line of communication, like internally, a lot of companies they'll just keep all that stuff completely under wraps until like they know like the month before. All right, we're gonna ship it. Now it's okay to like talk about it, or whatever, right? Or like discuss it.
It's a good idea, right? Like
Yeah,
you be transparent and change your plans enough times, then you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's why nobody tells anybody anything.
yeah. But we should probably, I think, get better at kind of discussing when things priorities maybe have shifted, right? And like we can just maybe
Sure.
say like a quick update into like like hey, the war. And I think we did that before, like with Goblin Town. You said that was like shelved like indefinitely, right? Or like not indefinitely, but like just for like for now the plan for Goblin Town is shelved because we're focusing on other things, and just kind of like
Yeah.
more mini updates like that so that people just know at least where they are. And I think that'd be great. I think that we can work on doing that better.
Great. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
ready to move on. Did you want to talk about Nosferatu, Elf?
I sure, yeah, and I think obviously the biggest reason I want to talk about it is because Nosferatu is such a prominent character in the Forgotten Runes Souls collection. I mean, I think most of us here know the legendary beginnings of Nosferatu, how he was how he was revealed to our cult. He was burned by Tom. God, almost 2 years ago now, I think. There's even a YouTube video. And now our everybody's beloved morons. I think they collectively own Nosferatu, and just what they've done with that character over the years, with Lil Nas and just the amazing illustrations that Castamere makes, and the fun memes, and the legendary fanny pack they made. I can't say enough about what that group of guys has done with that character. It's one of those legendary characters in the Forgotten Runes pantheon that I think it wasn't done by one person. It was done just by a whole crew of legendary memesters. And I think what's just particularly interesting about it is Nosferatu himself is a meme. He is a meme of a vampire. He's a meme of Dracula. I've told the story before, but it's a legendary anecdote in filmmaker history. H.G. Murnau, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, a German expressionist filmmaker. He wanted to do Bram Stoker's Dracula. He wanted to make his film on Bram Stoker's novel, and he couldn't get the rights to it. So he memed Dracula. He created Nosferatu, and now in many ways, Nosferatu is almost a legendary vampire in his own right. In some ways, overshadowing Dracula. I mean, even in the Keanu Reeves film with Anthony Hopkins and Winona Ryder, uh, Van Helsing himself mentions Nosferatu. So it's just this beautiful full circle of the memes getting intermingled in the medium of film. And so now we have a new Robert Eggers take on Nosferatu. And if you don't know who Robert Eggers is, he did one of just my favorite horror films in the last 10 years. It's called The Witch. It is so. It is on my top of list of favorite films so much that I mean, my own Black Goat persona is sort of modeled after Black Phillip, which is he's the Black Goat in that film, and he's like one of the best actors in that film. Like the way they shot that goat. I mean, he just has so much gravitas in every scene that he's in. I love that character, and so now Robert Eggers is doing a Nosferatu, and the meme goes on. I mean, that's another thing about a vampire meme. You can't kill a vampire, and you can't kill a good meme, and it keeps going and going and going. And I'm so excited to see that this new rendition of Nosferatu. And that's all I wanted to say. I don't know if you guys have any impressions of this new film, but I'm just very excited about it. No
I
comment.
haven't seen the trailers yet. I'm looking forward to link to it. I love the idea of more Nosferatu merch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I can see like a whole fashion line, and when I say fashion, I mean like more like skater punk line of Nosferatu merch. I just think you guys have done so awesome with it, and I just want to see it get bigger and bigger.
I would
Yeah.
love some Nosferatu merch. I'd be big into that. And yeah, Elf, I was glad you brought this up and got the trailer on my radar. I watched it earlier and I thought it was really, really good. I'm excited to see the movie. But I will also note that the second top comment on YouTube was at a quote, I'm something of a creature of the night myself. Willem Dafoe, the classic Green Goblin Spider-Man meme, which I laughed really hard at.
Yeah, so good, so good. Yeah. I mean, God, who doesn't love Willem Dafoe? And in the trailer, they don't even show Nosferatu yet, of course. In the classic horror movie trope, don't show the monster until
Gotta wait.
the
Yep.
opportune moment. But
No,
yeah, I guess that's all I want to say.
Yeah, Elf, Dracula, vampires, Nosferatu. These are all like historic memes. These are all like ancient human memes, and yeah, I'm excited for this. Transylvania also has like a thick history of innovation when it comes to like free speech and a lot of things. So yeah, this is interesting quantum Ouroboros stuff right here.
Exactly. The cycle turns once again. Speaking of memes, did you guys hear that the Hawk Tuah girl got signed to UTA?
I can't understand why everyone is talking about her nonstop. I mean, I saw the video and I was like, that's funny, but like, man, it's just everywhere.
Just taking the internet by storm. Something charismatic about that. I don't
She's
know.
the voice of a generation.
Oh my God. Nard just commented, Nosferatu Hawk 2.
Oh, there you go.
So many puns.
That's some cult magic right there.
Good one, Nard. I like that.
No, but
got
Dotta,
signed. What? Please do. Go
Dotta,
ahead.
I hear you though. Like yeah, it's funny, but why, of all the funny things that happen every day on the internet, why is that above all just taking such the internet by storm? Like, it's funny, but it's not that funny, is it?
I don't think it's that funny.
I will say I think a lot of the allure in this situation was that people were trying and could not ID her for like a week or two following the video release, I think. And so I think that just kind of contributed to this like cultural zeitgeist of like, who is this mysterious woman who's willing to hawk to and spittle on
Did
that
she
thing,
really
right?
get
Like,
fired from her preschool job? Is that real?
was she a preschool teacher?
That's good lore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. I don't get it. But okay, but then also like she signed to UTA to do what? Just repeat that line on Jimmy Kimmel? Like what? Why? What else is she gonna do?
No telling what other types of talents she's got in store for us to experience.
There you go. I have an idea what other kinds of talents she might have based on her own words.
Hopefully, she can just get that bag though. Like, yeah, I mean, you've got the, I don't know, embarrassment or whatever of like everybody knowing your thing, but hopefully she can get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we've finished with that piece of lore, Meeple Dad, I think you've got a lore reading you want to go over today, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Meeple, rescue us from the depths of debauchery and Hawk Tuah and culture this space up, please.
Yeah, tell us about this warrior and what lore we've got in store here.
I'm going to start by recognizing the amazing work of Sharon this week, because Sharon has written her 100th entry into the Book of Lore. If we can get a round of applause for Sharon, that's amazing. And it's special. That's special to me because the very first Wizard Wednesday I ever tuned into featured a lore reading by Sharon. And that was honestly one of the things that made me sit up straight and say, gee whiz, this is special. This is different. I want to be a part of this community. So hats off to Sharon. And let's read a little story about Jasper, the warrior Jasper and his penguin companion. I've posted it in the Secret Tower if anyone wants to follow along and look at the AI-generated pixel art that I've woven in. You're welcome to. But
wait, Meeple, is this Sharon's warrior, or did Sharon write this, or what's the connection?
Oh, it's just that Sharon inspires me as a writer. It's just my warrior and my writing. I wrote this on the plane the last week when I was flying, because planes are a great place to write. So we're off to the northern reaches of the Runeverse for those who are curious. And Jesper is a big burly warrior. He's got that big muscly vibe, a real Arctic northern man, and his little penguin companion Pengu follows him around. So the story begins with Pengu looks out over the cliff. White as far as the eye can see. Storm was brewing, but not too far off in the ocean. Over 2 days of scaling these cliffs and rocks to look out on this? The penguin is up to his beef with it. Come on, you oaf, let's keep moving. Jasper looked up at Pengu from the small, overhang cliff where he'd found. There must have been some old salt formation there because Jasper had wandered off and was licking a rock. Hey, stop that. You're going to get your tongue stuck again. Ah, God, Chad Sack, would you stop it already? You're like a child who's been dropped on his head. Drop it. Jasper dropped the rock reluctantly and crawled out from the overhang. The penguin was jumping onto Jasper's arm and clambering up the large man's shoulder. To tell the truth, Jasper was, in fact, like a large child. And he had, in fact, been dropped on his head. Well, rather, his head was smashed by frost giants, and the injury had resulted in a dramatic brain injury, loss of brain functioning. He was now operating at a level similar to a golden retriever or other small animal. Most kobolds would have been able to outsmart him with their eyes closed. Pengu didn't know if the damage was permanent, but he certainly had his hands full now, managing this large, dumb human lost in the north. Their rations run out, not a fresh fish for weeks, and nothing but this strange crystal to show for the whole journey. Has this really been worth it? Only the Ice Rangers will be able to say, and who knows where they are now. Pengu kept a keen eye out from Jasper's shoulder as they lumbered along the edge of the great cliff. Below, the vast expanse of the ice bay stretched out. Pengu was happy that leg of the journey was behind them, and while their party had been able to find what they were seeking, the trip had come at a terrible cost for the Ice Ranger Patrol. So far as Pengu knew, only he and Jasper had survived the halls of Frosthaven. All the others were gone, lost to the beyond now. And Jasper would never be the same. After a few hours of tracking, Jasper stopped, dead in his tracks, frozen, as if he was now aware of some new danger. Pengu, who'd been lost in thought, snapped back to the present. Hey, boy, what is it? What do you sense? He hopped down from the barbarian's shoulders and waddled a few steps. Jasper now had his massive club in his hand, ready for anything. Then they felt it. A low rumble at first, which grew louder. The ground began to shake under their feet. Glacier worm! They both turned and bolted across the snow-packed terrain as they headed for the jagged rock face that was exposed nearly 20 meters away. Jasper was able to cover the distance quickly. Within a few swift moves, he was halfway up the rock face before Pengu could make it to safety. Too slow. Pengu felt the snow beneath him give way, and he felt himself falling into the open jaws of the massive subterranean beast. Jasper saw the massive beast explode out of the ice and snow, swallowing his little friend whole. Rage filled his tiny brain, and something primordial kicked in. Nearly 5 meters up the rock face he clung, Jasper launched himself into the air, diving headfirst into the gaping maw of the beast. His colossal club caught the creature's circular mouth just as it was closing, locking the creature's mouth open. A flurry of fists that followed was nothing short of luck and artwork. Jasper smashed both fists down into the meaty inside of the creature. Fist deep inside the flesh, his hands found one of the creature's massive rib bones, locked onto it, and pulled with every ounce of his might. The bone snapped free from the spine and came loose in Jasper's hands. The force of the stroke caused Jasper to lurch backwards, swinging his new broken bone weapon over his shoulder, sinking the sharp bone directly into the creature's tiny brain. Its last action of life was to violently vomit both Jasper and Pengu out onto the snow in a mess of gray-brown bile before collapsing onto the snowy landscape. the glacier worm was dead. The whole attack was probably less than 10 seconds, but Pengu's life had flashed before his eyes. Pengu sat up, covered in the creature's disgusting fluids and blood. He was remarkably unhurt from the encounter. Jasper was huddled beside the gargantuan corpse, licking a fresh wound. A surface scratch, thankfully. They rested for a full day, using the tunnel cavity carved by the great snow beast as shelter. Luckily, glacier worms are solid hairy creatures, thank goodness, so they were unlikely to encounter another for hundreds of kilometers. And their brain meat is actually considered a delicacy, served raw at only the most luxurious parties in the Red Wizard capital or casinos and strip clubs of the Pearl. 100,000 gold pieces worth of meat, and we're helping ourselves to seconds. Eat up, you big lug. It'll be frozen solid in a few hours if you don't. Above them, they could hear the storm rolling in, the wild wind now whipping the snow across the land. From the safety of their tunnel, they could see the snow begin to pile up, and it would be impossible to travel on the surface in this. And in fact, if it wasn't for the meat and the tunnel provided by the ancient worm, they would have perished from exposure, most certainly. Well, I guess we've only got one way we can travel now. Pengu looked down the tunnel, the sharp sloping slowly into the deep heart of the glacier. No telling what that creature uncovered down here from thousands of years of snow and ice. Jasper sat next to Pengu, tongue hanging out of his mouth, panting like an eager puppy. Well, let's go, boy. Get your things. It's time to see where this path takes us. And with that, they descended into the darkness.
Meeple, I have so many thoughts on that piece of lore, but I want to say, like, first of all, you shared an amazing piece of artwork of this warrior and the penguin, and I was looking through your Twitter and I couldn't find it. But it like first of all, the penguin is such a ridiculous animal to pair with a warrior, but like everybody who has one is making it work. And you know, when I saw that warrior art, I first laughed, and then you made me laugh again when you explained that the penguin is the brains of this operation, which
So
is
good.
just, it's so good, it's so funny. So I love that dynamic of this like little dopey penguin or little penguin leading this big oaf around the Arctic. And then you introduced a whole new creature, which is the glacier worm. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, it's actually a distant relative of the canyon worm, which is a Rune's
Right.
TCG card. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, yeah. When do we get the Rune's TCG card with the glacier worm? That's really fun. And then the whole bit about the glacier worm's brain being a delicacy, and the cities to the south is a really nice touch. But no, the penguin leading around this big burly oaf, that's so fun, Meeple. Well done.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun to write.
Yeah, really well written. I loved the story and your reading of it too. Always just fantastic. Love hearing lore from you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Happy
And
to.
also, did I hear that he killed the sandworm or the glacier worm with one of the worm's ribs? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was sort of just got lucky and was able to spear it with its own rib, skewering it through the brain.
That's great. That's great. Good stuff, Meeple. Thank you so much. That was great.
Penguins are always great to listen about. We need more penguin lore.
Yeah, Matto, I think you're the one responsible for there being penguins in the Warrior Collection.
Yeah, I brought penguins in. I wanted to. I really like penguins. I thought they would be a good companion. People can make them work.
I gotta tell you, when you first requested it, I almost thought, no, penguins can't be warriors. But everybody's making it work. So yeah, well done. All right. Well, is it time for the Cult Content Chronicle?
Yep.
Compiled by
The illustrious
Tanya Del Rio.
Sorry, Donya. I just really wanted to hear you yell her name with your voice the way it is right now.
Every damn week 75. All right. This is my favorite part of Wizard Wednesday. Starting out, Daniela Illustra, who basically has an entry in every single Cult Content Chronicle. This one looks really cool. It's a full scene that she's illustrated of a wizard walking down a hall. Dowex Lab, who is also extremely prolific. I think this time he's got basically a hand-drawn piece of Malevolence Soul. What I really love about this version is the Dowex Lab basically put like basketball high tops on this soul, which is perfect. It's perfect. So yeah, I love it. And then speaking of Malevolent, they commissioned 2 pieces of their soul and their iconic wizard. Malevolent's wizard is one of my favorite in the collection. I'm quite jealous of it. But honestly, everything Malevolent has done with this wizard has just been great. So I'm glad that you have it, Malevolent. Feckless. It looks like Feckless is bringing Toasty on a worldwide adventure, and I'm here for it. Yeah. It's super cute, Feck. I can't wait to see where Toasty goes next.
I heard a rumor that somebody's trying to kidnap Toastly.
Oh no!
Oh shit! We must protect Toastly at all costs.
I think so. Yeah, I would lay down my life for this little stuffed friend.
Seriously. Dotta or Entropy, do you guys want to take these next few?
Yeah, I'll save
I don't want
Dota's.
to talk anymore.
I'll save Dotta from it. I'll hop in here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so we've got a collection of Tad Major's past pixel art and animations that was posted recently to share all of this awesome content in one place for people to access it. Love that this move happened, and actually also did something similar. I started collecting some of my past Forgotten Runes memes into one folder, which was a good practice and a nice trip down memory lane. So if you're curious to see any of Tad's work, go ahead and hop into that link there. We've also got a commission here by Shadow. So this is a commission for some warriors, and I think there's also wizards mixed in there as well. Yeah, I really love this art style. This is so fun, so great.
Yeah, I just want to chime in on this. Shadowy, your art style has just really been growing on me lately, especially the little mini comics that you've been doing. It's just such a silly and charismatic style. What I really want to see is I want to see you do some animation. Like I want to see a short format like YouTube video. I don't know if you know how to use animation software, but man, I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'm just really loving this style.
The color too. I really love the colors going on in here. Like fantastic work with that.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, alluded to and mentioned previously by Meeple Dad, but we are celebrating Sharon, who is celebrating her 100th entry into the Book of Lore. Yeah. Sharon, prolific lore contributor, and just all around fantastic person. Sharon is really, really turning out some content for the cult, and it's always a pleasure to read.
I want to second that. Sharon, not only did you apparently you were the gateway to bring Meeple in because he heard you read on Wizard Wednesday, but you might have the record for the most Book of Lore entries. I don't know of anyone who has more, but if you are the record holder, well done, congratulations. That's a big deal. I don't know if I want to say too much right now, but I think you'll be happy for writing 100 entries in the Book of Lore. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think Galatea and Litho are well on their way to being far along their path towards being very iconic characters in this universe, made by you. And I will say also, I can't say a whole ton more about this, but you hitting this milestone inspired a new creative idea for me that I brought to the team, and we're gonna talk about maybe trying to figure out how we can make that a reality.
Sweet. Go ahead, Entropy.
Yeah. So we've got some more amazing 3D models from Clooney the Rat. These models are so cool. I think last week I mentioned that you were working on emissive properties and getting the runes to glow, which was really cool. And now we see this really cool stained glass element in it that's just awesome. And I don't feel like I've seen anything with that kind of like treatment to it. I'm not exactly sure what you're doing there with it. I have 3D experience, but it's in much more boring things like mass manufactured parts and stuff like that. So I didn't spend nearly enough time playing in cool creative areas of this. But it looks great, and I love what you're doing, and very excited to see this built out more. I think you also mentioned in a post that you're working on like building sets and things within Nifty Island too. I've definitely got to hop in there and do some work playing with those and see what items you've got up there to claim, because I know you've posted a few of them.
Hell yeah.
You want to hop into? I can keep.
Yeah. I can't help myself because I feel like I still want to comment on everything. So
yeah, no worries. All good. There's a lot of good stuff to say.
There really is. Matto, the legendary wizard with Magus Devon, continuing with their commissions. This time a new artist with a great handle, Sea Cats Crying. In a Higurashi style, says Tanya. I'm not sure who Higurashi is. It might be some famous anime art or manga artist that I don't know of. But Matto, do you want to chime in on who Higurashi is or anything about this?
Oh yeah, it's just the series that it's from. So it's the Higurashi When They Cry is it's a visual novel series, and it has like an anime and manga adaptation. But the style of the original, which is like a visual novel, which is it's like it has like it's combination of like novel, and then it has like sometimes voiceovers, but usually music is what really brings it apart, and like visuals obviously go with it. So like it's like an experience close to like and it's like a picture book, but it actually has like music and stuff to go with it too. But anyway, so like these are just like the series he made is just a one man show free for like the art and for the story. And so like he has like his own style that's like very kind of like potatoey and like blobby, and like it kind of grows on you. He's really good at like expressions and stuff. So like I felt like putting it out there. Like it's for me, I really love the series. And I like the art style that goes with it. There's like art patches for it, but like for me, the OG art is like always the best for me. So I just wanted to have like something drawn in that style. I found somebody who imitates the style really well. So
very cool. Magus Wazir, the one who rings, has been I'm gonna say experimenting on the side with some kind of world building tools that clearly it's based on Minecraft, but it's also got our 3D wizard models in it. Waz, I don't really know what to say, but I know it's awesome. If you want to say anything more about this, come on up and ring your bell. But yeah, no, it looks awesome, man. Igduel got a new wizard, and they're using it as their PFP. Igduel, I love this wizard. You know that the green whiz head is one of my favorite heads in the whole collection, the Wicked Wiz. And you've got some great art to go along with it. This is a Wicked Wiz head who is holding a golden goblet, so naturally he is very sophisticated, and that sophistication is really coming through with this artwork that Igduel is sharing. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I love how dapper he looks. He looks great.
So dapper, yes. we need more cultured, classy, dappy wizards in the cult, I think.
Definitely get an invite to Bridges Country Club.
Yeah, totally. Zone, Zone is always doing some plum memery. So of course they've got a new purple wizard, and a beautiful one at that. I love this artwork that they're pairing with it. I always love the Chaos staff too. I think that's a really fun staff. But their wizard looks too sweet to be wielding such a staff of destruction.
It's okay. That's why she has a plum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, use the plum to balance it out. Meeple Dad got a new warrior and generated some art for this new warrior. His name is Enzo, Shaver of the Arena, and he certainly looks like a badass.
This magazine cover style is really fun. I like this.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of bringing some culture and sophistication, yeah, he looks horrifying and yet cultured at the same time.
Yeah.
He's sort of, I'll pipe in here. He's sort of like the evil Zoolander of the Runeverse. Is going to be his.
Great.
Very
there
nice.
You go, all right. I like
Love that.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, Wizard Small made a fun meme. I can't describe it. You just got to look at it.
I will also. I've got to chime in though. Wizard Small, congratulations to the hitting this on the beat there. I was hovering so closely and watching the listings on Adept Fire Eater of the Gnostics. Such a good soul, or wizard rather, a wizard. I was very tempted personally.
Did Small buy that one recently?
Yeah, I believe that was a couple of days ago. Somebody had it listed, and I saw the listing dropping, and I was sitting there kind of debating, and I'm glad that it went to somebody who's going to really treasure it, because otherwise I'd be very jealous.
No, it is a badass wizard with a badass name. Someday I want to do a whole rant on Gnosticism and the Gnostics and what all that means to me, at least. But yeah, that wizard's got such a good name.
Yeah.
Oh God, can we stop talking about creatine?
While some people are ready for the conversation to be done, this might have been a perfect end cap for it. How did we not realize that creatine is only one letter away from the word creative? That's so perfect. And if your brain is more hydrated, you should be able to think a little easier and maybe some more creative thoughts flow out of you.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, HP. Maybe what we need more, we need more creatine, not less.
The other thing I was curious about the screenshot, it looks like it's in Nifty Island because I recognize that bee droid character from that, but I haven't seen that Warrior 3D model in Nifty Island either yet. So I'm a little curious how Igdul set this up.
Yeah, where'd you get that, Igdul? Have you been in our Dropbox? Or did Waz give that to him? That good point, Ishfi. Yeah, that is definitely some kind of leak. Wow, Igdul. Okay, all kinds of mysteries going on with this image. Okay, Zayla Sul crossed his wizard with an Opepin. You know, it's funny because I look at this Opepin and I immediately can see Zayla Sul's wizard in it. It's the palette is quite iconic.
Yeah, very good execution on this.
Yeah. Jason, continuing with the Dizzy Wizzy Vizzies. I'll never say it right. And I think he changes it every week anyway. So.
It does change with each post. I think it's a fun tongue twister challenge for us. I like it.
Yeah. I think he just does it to mess with me to see if I can say it.
I'm liking the skateboarding clips in the background of this one too. That's pretty fun. Like that.
Yes. Yeah, Jason, I mean, so much of your work has skater culture mixed in. When are we going to get an actual skateboarding wizzy? That's what I want. I want to see a kick flip and an ollie and fuck it, put him on a half pipe.
Tony Hawk's Wizard Skater 3. I would play the shit out of that game. Yes. Let's go.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, Meeple Dad, continuing with the riddles in the dark. Finally, we got the plum in there.
Bet Zone's happy about that.
It's about plum. It's plum damn time. I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try. And then last Monday, our good buddy Malevolent Dominus Spine was on Magic Monday News. I listened to that one. I think I've listened to the last 2 or 3 Magic Monday news, and I think I'm gonna start tuning in because they're fun to listen to. I love Hin Boyd as the host, and you guys do a good job with this, and it's fun to get to know the cult members on a more one-on-one basis. Yeah, I learned some really interesting things about Malevolent's history. He's an interesting character, and he's got the perfect wizard to match his life story.
He did a burn too. He recently
That's
did a burn.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
A really good soul came out of that. That's one of my favorite soul bodies in the entire
Yeah,
collection.
he burned a Hogan, right?
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
it's a great body, the great head. I love the soul version of the Hungan wizard, and a zombie monkey. Who doesn't love zombie monkeys?
So good. Wait, was it a monkey or a cat?
Oh, maybe it was a cat.
I think it was a
Still,
zombie cat.
I
You
think
know,
you're
you
right.
can't tell anymore because it's already burned. It's all flesh is gone. So, you know, skeletons kind of look the same when it's on all fours.
Yeah. No, zombie cat is good too. Yeah. Any zombie animal is just awesome.
Truly, truly.
Yeah. And
On
then
sorry, just real quick, I wanted to also plug for this upcoming episode of Monday Magic News. Nalgene will be their special guest for this week, so make sure to tune in for that. Monday at I think they always kick off things about 5:25, 5:30 p.m. PST on Mondays. And they've made another note here. So their treat discussion will be around the jar of questions. They're going to talk about the announcement, the Runeverse announcement that we talked about at the top of the hour here. A little preview for Black Sands Soul Pony Burn. And they're also talking about potentially doing a trivia contest, either for bragging rights or potentially a floor treat. So, yeah, nice. Hang out with us on Monday. It'll be a good time.
Now Gene will be the special guest. You know, I'm just going to say to the cult, if you guys are looking for alpha and information that me, Dotta, and Bear will not give you, you might try Nalgene. We'll see if his resolve is as firm as ours.
I'm going to try and pop the top off of Young Wizard bottle and get some info out of him.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And then finally the DAO, the FRWC Council DAO. A vote is live now for Meeple Dad's Treasure Trove 2.0. I think this is the second Treasure Trove. Is that right, Meeple?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah. Is Meeple still up? No, he's gone. Damn.
No.
But that's okay. We know that the first one was awesome. I have a feeling this one's going to be even better. I always feel weird about lending my voice to DAO votes, but I think we can all agree that this is one that should be voted affirmatively. Okay, here comes Meeple, actually. Meeple, tell us about this DAO proposal.
In detail on that Spaces last Thursday, so the link is on the Forgotten Council Twitter page. You can go listen to the full recording there. Me and Acid and a few others spent about 45 minutes diving into it, and Bear joined us and stuff. But the real quick Cole's notes is this is a slam dunk for the DAO. We're really not asking any money from the DAO. This is really just, we want the official community support to really legitimize this project and give a vote of confidence to people who might not otherwise send crypto to a random dude on the internet's wallet or send a random PayPal transaction. Like, this is a real community project. This is something all of us do together. Build some amazing merch and get some cool stuff in the hands of some wizards. And there's going to be opportunities to collaborate. I'm going to need help. Already, Sharon and I have been scheming, trying to get a little litho, character, like a little stuffy made and things like that. So there'll be other opportunities to get your ideas turned into real life stuff. So I'll be hosting a few Twitter Spaces in the upcoming months, in the upcoming weeks rather, to explore. So join me for that and the others as well. And go check out the proposal. Give it a vote.
Meeple, sorry, I have to hone in on one thing you said. Are you saying it's possible that we could get a little litho plushie in the treasure trove box?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay, that alone is like worth a yes vote. Come on. Yeah. You know what I really love is this these like second order characters. I don't know if that's the right way to call them, but like people have made these like side characters really sort of legendary. You've got like Sharon's Litho, Mattow's Spiner Snake, Bread Friend. Um, there's a bunch more that I'm blanking on now, but yeah, Litho is one of those characters that's just, you know, it's like a breakout character. So yeah, that's very exciting, man.
Big
I
time.
think
Very iconic.
Yeah.
V-Mark Snake is actually his imp too. I think Impy accidentally turned himself into his snake at one point.
That's great. That's
Too
good
fun.
stuff, man. Yeah.
Although it's not included in Cult Content Chronicle particularly, I also did just want to make an extra little bit of note here that Forgotten Council DAO is still holding its nomination up for upcoming council elections. So that'll happen on June 30th. And the full list of people that have been nominated or have stepped up so far would include Fabula, DFI, Maple Dad, who's been up here today, Bridge, who is up here as well, Zayla Soul, who is currently campaigning in the Secret Tower with some fantastic memes, and Franco. So we'll be looking forward to see who will take those new spots on the council here pretty soon.
That's great. Yeah, everyone you just mentioned sounds like they'd be excellent in those positions.
Totally. Lots of good choices, all of them, truly.
Yep. Oh, and I also want to throw in Cosmic Nightjar's Veggie. Veggie the hyena is also iconic. Who doesn't love a baby hyena that only eats veggies? That's freaking adorable. Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else? Bridge, Jitsi, Matto, you guys got any final words? Dotta, you got any final scratchy words for us?
I need to take a nap.
Dotta, go to sleep, buddy.
Dotta, you're banned from working
so
for the
good.
rest of the day. Rest. If our puppet master dies, what will all of us do without any direction?
He ran out of creatine. See, guys, you need to take it every day. Every day. Look at what happens when poor Dotta misses one day of it.
Okay. All right. Go take your creatine, Dotta.
I've got a birthday song
Brit!
for you, Elf.
What's that, Bridge?
My AirPods died, so can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so we do a family birthday song. It's usually, you know, just for family. One big happy Christmas family here. I've got a embarrassing birthday song for you if you want it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No. I think we ran out of time. Sorry, guys, gotta go.
All right.
It's channeling out. No, go ahead.
Right,
go ahead.
Here's the quick. You're 1 year older, 1 year wiser. Rock and roll star, king, czar, and a Kaiser. A room full of friends, a mouthful of cake. Every present is for you, and it feels pretty great. You're the man of the hour, the VIP. You get the first slice of the PIE. So first blow out the candles and make a wish, put a smile on, because it's your birthday, bitch.
Amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Bridge, that was good. That was good. I'm glad.
God damn.
Every year, bud. Every year.
Bridge, it almost sounded like that Cake song, like Race Car. Is it based on that at all, or am I mishearing it?
He's
Is
going
from
the distance.
a Adult Swim show from C-Lab. It was C-Lab, and it's MC Chris, and we just grabbed it and we sing it for family members every year because the normal birthday song is, you know, everyone's just sitting there staring at each other.
Yeah.
So we do that every
it's
year.
lame.
Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, Bridge, that was really
Happy
good,
birthday.
man. I think
We're
thank you,
lucky to
dude.
have you.
Yeah, I next year I want that professionally recorded, with some proper music and instrumental.
I mean, technically, it was just
that was good.
recorded, so.
You better believe I'm clipping this as soon as the recording is ready.
Clip and remix.
Happy birthday, dude.
All right, thanks, guys. Okay, anything else? Okay, I'm gonna play this Wizard Wednesday theme song I made over the weekend. If anybody wants to make a Wizard Wednesday theme song on Udemy or whatever else, just send it to me and maybe we'll play it next week. But other than that, this has been Elf, Dotta, Entropy, Maddow, Jitsi, Bridge, Meeple Dad, channeling out from the Quantum Downs. GN, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Channeling from the Quantum Downs. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Black Goat Elf, Dotta Puppet too. Bearsnake by the ocean blue. It's Wizard Wednesday. It's Wizard Wednesday. Kobolds and Dream Master Sword. Putting their rune on the door. It's Wizard Wednesday. Forevermore. Wizards of Wednesday, lore at the core. We are a cult with a world of our own, never forgotten or magic is known. It's Wizard Wednesday, it's Wizard Wednesday. Let's read from the book of lore, legendary wizards at the core. Don't get lost in the quantum shadow, abracadabra is our magical manifesto. Wednesday. Eat a donut, set your soul on fire. The sacred flame on a funeral pyre. The seventh gate